I have ideas that are worth passing down to posterity. It's the 49 laws of power. It tells you really how to be manipulative and be nihilistic and be dark triad and get what you want. Someone in ancient Sumer was lamenting the fact that everybody nowadays has a book. They're in the Hollywood system. They're in the academic book writing area.
Super powerful authors like that have authority to coin language.
Oh,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So crazy difficult to try to get anybody to read anything. It's just not going to happen. The way to do writing if you're a white guy is to have a funny Twitter account and have a Substack. So this is National Novel Writing Month. If you think that you're going to write a novel in a month, let alone you're going to write a novel. Okay, I'm going to write a novel. I'm going to somehow expound upon the Western canon of literature.
Yeah.
Somehow. But look at this.
Yeah, Cynthia's gonna do it.
Physiognomy check failed. I'm beginning my literary agent research, and I'm freaking out at considering my writing as outstanding, game-changing, and life-altering. To me, it's fun beach fodder. I'm having a serious bout of imposter syndrome and want to give up. Hashtag cozy mystery. Man, they really pump these out. There must be a factory where they make these nuts white women.
He's almost done with his book that he's been working on for years.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with it?
I guess he's going to try to pitch it and sell it.
Nobody will buy it. The people who are selling writing are people who are like entrenched. They're in the Hollywood system. They're in the academic book writing area, and they're writing like mad shit. Like they're not people who have been writing one thing for 20 years. They're people who put out, and they care less about their product than you do, by the way, but it's not an insult. But there's no way to come up with a new sci-fi IP and sell it to a movie studio or sell it as a book or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. Especially if you haven't been publishing smaller work and like building your sort of yourself up as a writer. The people who make money writing, they write like hundreds of things. You have to write and publish like 1,000 things before one of them ever takes off.
Is writing worth it anymore in a world that puts so much more worth on video and audio?
Writing is like the hardest one. Literally, unless you're like a Brazilian guy. No offense, I'm just saying the facts here. Or like a half black, half Filipino woman, or like half Indian woman, like a woman where you can't tell where they're from. And I'm not hating right here. This is just the facts. Unless you're one of those people and you know somebody that works at like the Atlantic or something, the writing is like, the way to do writing if you're a white guy is to have a funny Twitter account and have a Substack. But I forgot that there's people who are actually making money on Substack right now. So that's how you would do it. So writing actually does, there is a path forward for writing. Just make sure you are good.
How would you go about publishing a Bukowski / Hunter S. Thompson-esque wild / non-woke novel in today's world? Self-publish or try to go traditional?
Oh, it's going to be real hard for you to get a book published, guy. That's never happening. If you want to sell a book, you have to like build up a following first on like Twitter or Medium.com. I mean, I hope you have something like that you can sell people a book, but it's so crazy difficult to try to get anybody to read anything. It's just not going to happen unless you have a pre-existing following somewhere that, that's what people are paying for writing wise is Substack. And that's like the writing equivalent of being a YouTuber. You have to release like a weekly thing. People make mad money on Substack though, if writing is your bag. All those print-on-demand book services are disgusting. They suck. The books are so ugly and just poorly printed, and they just look like I mean, most people pick them up and it doesn't faze them at all. They'll pick up a badly printed book and be like, oh, this is a good book. For How to Bomb, we did everything right, and it took every amount of time and all the money to get it typeset by professional, really good designers, the Royal Studio. That was expensive, very time consuming for us because we had to direct them. Getting it printed is like paper selection. You got to go through paper selection. You got to go through like materials selection. It's just a process. It was a process, and I did it because I wanted to do it right. But if you self-publish on Amazon, Amazon's going to take all your money, and you're going to sell like 10 copies. It's just not a route you can take. You can't be a writer. It's not going to happen. You got to do it online. You got to make a Twitter account that's got buzz and then sell to people that way. First and foremost, avoid the books that are going to your psyche. The guys that are like, oh, I read 200 books a year. That's a lie. That's something you would say if you're 16 and you're trying to think of the coolest thing to say that would make you sound the smartest. There aren't 200 good books. They're all crap. Someone in ancient Sumer was lamenting the fact that everybody nowadays has a book. Isn't that funny? Like before most books were written, people are already like, everybody's got a book. If you write a book, what you're saying is, I have ideas that are worth passing down to posterity. If you're watching Jocko Willink or David Goggins, the appropriate place to do that is on the toilet, taking a shit. The level of wisdom that you're getting from Jocko Willink is for when you are evacuating feces from your body, okay? And you had hot sauce and you're filling the toilet bowl. That's when Jocko and people like that truly shine, okay? In a 15 to 30 second format, that's when this stuff is appropriate. Not in a book, a vehicle that is designed to last 1,000 plus years. That's the purpose of a book. A book is for when you have something, you thought of something so good that it should be taught or learned or thought about 1,000 years from now. I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream is a short story by Harlan Ellison, who's like a legendary science fiction writer. He is
Brazilian,
though.
Babylon 5, right?
Cool picture,
He
though.
helped write a lot of Babylon 5 episodes, and
God, that's good imagery.
Yeah, isn't
the
that awesome?
thrust of the short story is there are these 5 humans who are the last humans left alive, and they're kept alive forever by this computer intelligence as a form of revenge against humanity for creating it. And this robot, this computer intelligence just tortures them for thousands of years. And I think
Sounds like fiction, doesn't it?
the ending is one of the humans finds a way to kill the other 4, and then he keeps the last human alive, and he has no mouth at that point. And he has the urge to scream or something like
I don't
that.
think I want to play it or read it.
I say the author's
Brazilian.
because it is sort of a nihilistic, that kind of dystopia porn. I don't think it's realistic or useful.
You don't
or
like that?
good. No,
No, like, is that a common theme in cyberpunk literature?
that's a lot of it. That's like Black Mirror
Yeah,
is just dystopia porn.
all negative.
I think it's
Yeah.
Lucifer's fantasy. That's what it represents. Like torturing humans to torture God. Like
And I don't think
it goes
it's-
beyond it even.
I don't think it's realistic or it serves a literary purpose or anything other than satisfying a pornographic urge in the mind of somebody who is negative. My favorite writer would be Philip K. Dick, and he's been described his writing. People critique his writing because the plots don't. They kind of unravel by the end of the book. A lot of the time, they're not. Some of them are extremely perfect. Like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is like a perfect book. Some of them, the plots don't really resolve or anything. That's one of the critiques against him, and I'll explain why in a second. Another critique that I think is fascinating is people pick on his writing for having typos and grammatical errors.
Oh,
Which is that's a fantastic. Like somebody one of the greatest science fiction writers getting on his case for typos and grammatical errors. That's like the definition of midwit to me. Like that's pure Redditor mind. Like
Yeah.
you're looking at these ideas that are like golden, and you're like, oh, he used the wrong
Case.
sentence. Yeah, that's incredible to me. The reason for those typos is he's been described as a downhill racer of writing. When he goes on a book, I think what he's doing is he's just spilling out as many ideas as possible as quickly as possible, and that's why the characters are not. He doesn't have developed characters. He doesn't have a lot of the time plots that are like airtight,
Yeah.
and it's because he's using the book as a vehicle for fantastical ideas as quickly as possible, packing in as many crazy futuristic ideas as you can.
Yeah.
And the ones where he resolves them, where I think it just happens probably accidentally, like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. That book is like a miracle of, it's just a masterpiece. It really is. Do Androids, it's the book that Blade Runner was based on. It's very different from the movie Blade Runner. The movie Blade Runner is dark and brooding. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is kind of cartoonish, and it's funny. His writing is very funny. Philip K. Dick's books are pretty easy.
No,
They're the prose is really easy. The concepts are kind of, unless you have to have like an open mind and just be ready to accept weird concepts.
Those authors, like super powerful authors like that, have authority to coin language.
Oh,
yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Anybody who's avant-garde in any age that's proven, that's made. It's almost like you can only be considered a Hall of Fame quarterback if you've thrown like X amount of passes. If you've made more than 10,000 people laugh, you have free license to. You can call food lumping. You know, it's why we put up with other people's bull. We let 𝗘𝗿𝗄𝐿 be a star.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as she's getting ripped, everyone's happy.
As long as she's giving it up behind the scenes.
Yeah, right.
Who cares? I talked to ChatGPT all day yesterday.
Besties.
Really?
We're besties now.
What'd they say?
No, I was organizing Joyride writing, and because it's what it's really good at is taking disparate ideas and logically sort of structuring them in one chain so that it makes sense.
I saw you working it the other day like it was like a 1920s camera. You were like,
Yeah. I was,
boop, boop, boop. And I was like, what the is he doing? And then
at the show,
I figured it out. Then I was like, oh, he's working. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
I was pumping it in there, and it also can highlight conflicting ideas that don't work with each other, and it does this. Like you could send it a stack of thousands of ideas, and it'll find the ones that don't work with the other ones. Like
no shit.
You don't have to keep this stuff in your working memory. That's why it's super useful. And it did yesterday. I did probably writing that would have taken me months to do in an afternoon and a day.
Wow.
I like movies of all genres. I like every type of movie. But in my opinion, a movie, Jackie Chan says the film lives forever. The problem nowadays is people, these forms of media, like books and movies. A book is supposed to be for something that's knowledge that you need to pass on to the next generation. Okay? In the past, if you wrote a book, if you got published, that was a big deal because it meant that people thought that what you had to say was so important that it should be enshrined in this vehicle, this time travel device, to go 100 years into the future and be read by people needing to tap into whatever you had to say. That's what a book was. Now a book is, hey guys, I got a new book out. It teaches you all about whatever, Jocko Willink. I got a new book out, but it's better than the book I did 6 months ago. It's the 49 Laws of Power. It tells you really how to people over. It tells you really how to be manipulative and be nihilistic and be dark triad and get what you want. They're disposable. Books are disposable. We can make a book in 3 hours. We can make a book in 3 hours. AI generate most of it, find some text here and there from Google Docs, slam it together, put it on Amazon, print on demand, have a book done in 3 hours. It's disposable. I was hoping that maybe films wouldn't become disposable, but films now, thanks to Netflix, just pumping money into the system. Films are disposable. Films are disposable. And it's because the barrier to entry has been lowered, democratization of whatever, what have you. It's a bad thing in my opinion. This is a disposable film. And I know I haven't seen it. Is it a good film? Have you seen it?
No.
Hey, Jet, have you seen The Whale? Have you seen Ben? You haven't seen The Whale. You're too busy watching Tombstone.
Mr. Bo with the 25. Hey, Sam and Jet, any book recommendations?
Jack Vance. Jack Vance, Philip K. Dick. And if you like that, go to Gene Wolfe. But Gene Wolfe is a bit thicker and more of a serious time investment. So if you don't know if you like sci-fi or not, I wouldn't start with Gene Wolfe. Jack Vance, Philip K. Dick. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Unbelievable book.